What if the very trait that we often celebrate as the epitome of human goodness could also be our downfall? Imagine this. You're always the first to lend a helping hand, the one who sacrifices their own time and energy to make others' lives easier. People praise you for your kindness, but underneath the surface, something more insidious is happening. Your kindness, when unchecked, might be leading you down a path of self-sabotage. Today, we're diving deep into the double-edged sword of kindness. How this seemingly harmless virtue could be undermining your well-being if not practiced with wisdom. Kindness is universally recognized as a virtue, and rightfully so. It has the power to uplift others, forge stronger relationships, and even improve our own mental and physical health. But what happens when kindness becomes a tool for others to exploit? What if, in your quest to be kind, you find yourself overextended, emotionally drained, or compromising your values? These are questions that many of us never consider, yet they hold the key to understanding how kindness can turn from a strength into a weakness. Think about the last time you went out of your way to help someone, perhaps at your own expense. Did it leave you feeling fulfilled? Or was there a lingering sense of resentment? Maybe you said yes when you really wanted to say no, or you tolerated behavior that went against your core values, all in the name of being kind. If any of this sounds familiar, you're not alone. And more importantly, you're not powerless. By the end of this video, you'll understand how to harness the true power of kindness without letting it control or diminish you. Before we dive into this exploration of Stoic wisdom and the complexities of kindness, I want to encourage you to engage with this content actively. If you're ready to take control of your kindness and wield it with intention and wisdom, make sure to hit the subscribe button and don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Share it with someone who might be struggling with the same challenges. Together, we can all learn to be kinder, not just to others, but to ourselves as well. Stay with me, because in the next section, we're going to uncover how Stoic philosophy views kindness, not just as an act of goodwill, but as a deliberate, powerful choice. You'll learn why the Stoics believed that kindness must be balanced with discernment, and how this ancient wisdom can be applied in our modern lives to prevent self-sabotage. The virtue of kindness in Stoic philosophy. Let me take you back to ancient Rome, where Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher king, ruled not just with power, but with profound wisdom. Imagine him in his private quarters, writing down his reflections late at night. Among his many thoughts, one stands out. A human being finds delight in doing what is proper to a human being, and what is proper to him is to show goodwill to his own kind. These words are not just musings. They're a blueprint for how Marcus believed we should live our lives, with kindness at the core. Kindness in Stoicism is more than just a virtue. It's an essential part of being human. The Stoics saw it as a natural extension of our rational nature. They believed that to live in harmony with others and the world around us, we must act with kindness, not out of obligation, but out of a genuine alignment with our true nature. Marcus Aurelius, for example, saw kindness as an expression of our highest self, an act that is in perfect harmony with the universe. But here's where it gets interesting. The Stoics also warned that kindness, if not tempered with wisdom, can lead us astray. Picture this. You're at work, and a colleague asks for your help with a project. You're swamped, but you agree anyway, not wanting to disappoint them. A week later, you find yourself drowning in deadlines, stressed and overworked, while your colleague breezes through their day. This is a perfect example of how unchecked kindness, though well-intentioned, can end up harming you more than helping others. Seneca, another great Stoic philosopher, emphasized that kindness should not come at the expense of our own well-being. He argued that true kindness is measured, thoughtful, and aligned with our capacity to give. In other words, it's not about saying yes to everything, but about knowing when to set boundaries. This wisdom is crucial because, as the Stoics believed, our primary duty is to maintain our own inner peace and integrity. Now, think about your own life. Have there been times when you've extended yourself too far in the name of kindness? Perhaps you've sacrificed your own needs, your time, or even your values just to avoid disappointing others. This is where the Stoic perspective can be incredibly powerful. It teaches us that while kindness is essential, it must be balanced with discernment, knowing when to give and when to hold back. As we explore this further, I want you to keep a question in mind. How can you practice kindness in a way that enhances your life rather than diminishes it? This is not just about being kind to others, but also about being kind to yourself. In the next section, we'll delve into the risks of unchecked kindness, how it can lead to burnout, resentment, and even self-betrayal if not practiced wisely. You won't want to miss this because understanding these risks is the key to mastering the art of true kindness. So, stay with me as we explore the potential pitfalls of kindness and how the Stoics can help us navigate this delicate balance. You'll discover practical insights that will not only make you a kinder person, but also a stronger, wiser one. The risks of unchecked kindness. Let me ask you this. Have you ever been so eager to help others that you ended up feeling drained, unappreciated, or even resentful? It's a common scenario, and it highlights a critical issue. What happens when kindness goes unchecked? While being kind is a noble trait, it's important to recognize that even this virtue has its limits. Without boundaries, kindness can lead to burnout, loss of authenticity, and even self-betrayal. Imagine a scenario where you're constantly the go-to person in your friend group or at work. Whenever someone needs help, you're the first to step up, putting your needs on the back burner. At first, it feels good to be of service, but over time, you start to notice the toll it's taking on you. Your energy wanes, your tasks pile up, and yet you keep saying yes because you don't want to let anyone down. This is a classic case of overextending yourself, a common risk of unchecked kindness. Overextending yourself can lead to emotional and physical burnout. The very acts of kindness that once brought you joy now leave you feeling overwhelmed and depleted. The Stoics, with their emphasis on maintaining inner peace, would argue that this is a sign that your kindness needs recalibrating. They believed that true kindness must come from a place of strength, not from a need to be liked or to avoid conflict. Seneca wisely advised that sometimes saying no is kind, not just to others, but to yourself as well. It's a reminder that self-care is not selfish, it's necessary. Now, let's think about authenticity. When was the last time you agreed to something that didn't feel right, just to keep the peace or avoid conflict? Maybe you tolerated behavior that went against your values, or perhaps you agreed to something that you knew wasn't in your best interest. This kind of kindness, though well-intentioned, can lead to a loss of authenticity. You start to compromise your true self, molding your actions to fit the expectations of others. Over time, this can erode your sense of identity and integrity. The Stoics were acutely aware of this danger. They taught that kindness should never come at the expense of your values or your true self. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the importance of staying true to oneself, even in the face of social pressure. To the Stoics, Living in accordance with nature meant being true to your own nature as well, acting with kindness that is aligned with your principles and not merely a reaction to external demands. Another significant risk is the potential for self-betrayal. When kindness is driven by the fear of conflict or the desire to be liked, it can lead you to tolerate situations or behaviors that you otherwise wouldn't. You might find yourself saying yes when every fiber of your being wants to say no, simply to avoid disappointment or to maintain harmony. But this kind of kindness is not genuine. It's a form of self-betrayal, where you sacrifice your own needs and values for the sake of others. Over time, this can lead to resentment, not just towards others, but towards yourself for allowing it to happen. At this point, you might be wondering, how do I strike the right balance? This is where Stoic wisdom comes into play. The Stoics advocated for practicing kindness with discernment, knowing when to help and when to step back, when to give and when to protect your own well-being. They taught that kindness, when guided by wisdom, becomes a powerful tool for both personal fulfillment and harmonious relationships. But the story doesn't end here. There's more to explore about how unchecked kindness can create dependency in others, and how it might even lead you to enable behaviors that are ultimately harmful. In the next section, we'll delve into these risks and discuss how to practice kindness in a way that empowers both you and those around you. So, stay tuned as we uncover the final layers of this complex yet essential virtue. Practicing kindness with wisdom. Let's consider a common scenario. You've been helping a friend for weeks, perhaps months, with various tasks. At first it felt good. You're doing something kind, and your friend appreciates it. But over time, you notice something unsettling. Your friend seems to rely on you more and more, asking for favors that gradually become more demanding. You start to feel like your kindness is no longer a choice, but an obligation. This is where unchecked kindness can create dependency, and instead of empowering those around you, you might be inadvertently enabling them. The idea that kindness can lead to dependency is not new. Think about the old saying, "Give a man a fish, and you feed him for a day. Teach a man to fish, and you feed him for a lifetime." It speaks to the heart of this issue. When we continuously give without setting boundaries, we risk fostering reliance rather than resilience in others. This doesn't mean we should withhold kindness, but it does mean we need to be mindful of how we offer it. The Stoics believe that true kindness empowers others. It helps them grow stronger, more independent, and capable of facing their own challenges. Imagine a scenario where instead of simply doing things for your friend, you teach them how to handle tasks on their own. Initially, it might seem less kind because it requires more effort from them. However, in the long run, this approach is far more beneficial. Not only does it preserve your own energy, but it also encourages personal growth in the other person. This is what the Stoics would consider wise kindness, kindness that is thoughtful, deliberate, and aimed at creating real, lasting value. But let's dig deeper. Have you ever considered how your own need to be kind might actually stem from a place of insecurity? Sometimes we say yes to every request because we fear rejection, or we believe that our worth is tied to how much we can do for others. This kind of kindness is not about the other person. It's about us. It's a way of seeking validation, of proving to ourselves and others that we are good, valuable, and needed. Yet, this can be a slippery slope, leading to resentment and burnout. The Stoics remind us that our value does not come from external validation. Marcus Aurelius often wrote about the importance of inner virtue. Being true to oneself and one's principles regardless of how others perceive us. In this light, practicing kindness with wisdom means being kind in a way that aligns with your values, not just to win approval or avoid conflict. It means saying no when necessary, even if it's difficult, because you recognize that doing so is in the best interest of both yourself and others. Now consider how this applies to your own life. Are there situations where your kindness might be enabling dependency rather than fostering independence? Are there times when you've said yes out of fear of disappointing someone rather than because it was truly the right thing to do? Reflecting on these questions is crucial because it allows you to practice kindness in a way that is both effective and sustainable. As we move forward, we'll explore practical steps you can take to practice this kind of wisdom in your daily life. How can you set boundaries without feeling guilty? How can you ensure that your kindness empowers rather than enables? And most importantly, how can you align your actions with your core values to avoid the pitfalls of unchecked kindness? These are the questions we'll answer in the next section, so stay tuned for practical Stoic strategies that will help you navigate these challenges with confidence and clarity. As we come to the end of this exploration, let's pause and reflect on the journey we've taken together. We began by acknowledging the universal truth that kindness is a powerful virtue, celebrated across cultures and philosophies. But, as we've uncovered, even the purest of virtues has its complexities. In the world of Stoicism, kindness is not just about acts of goodwill. It's about balancing those acts with wisdom, ensuring that they align with our inner values and do not lead us down a path of self-sabotage. Think about the lessons of Marcus Aurelius and Seneca. These ancient thinkers knew that kindness, when practiced without discernment, could lead to burnout, loss of authenticity, and even self-betrayal. They taught us that true kindness empowers, it does not enable, it nurtures independence, not dependency. This wisdom is just as relevant today as it was centuries ago. So ask yourself, how can you apply these principles in your own life? How can you practice kindness that is not only generous but also wise, that enriches both you and those around you? As you move forward, remember that practicing kindness with wisdom doesn't mean withholding it. Rather, it means offering it in a way that is sustainable, respectful of your own boundaries, and genuinely beneficial to others. The next time you're faced with a situation where kindness is needed, take a moment to reflect. Are you acting out of fear of disappointment or from a place of true generosity? Are you helping in a way that empowers, or are you unintentionally creating dependency? These are the questions that will guide you in practicing true Stoic kindness. Before we part, I want to leave you with one final thought. Kindness is most powerful when it is paired with wisdom. It is not enough to be kind. We must be kind in a way that is thoughtful, deliberate, and aligned with our deepest values. This is how we ensure that our kindness is not just an act, but a virtue that strengthens both ourselves and those around us. If you found value in this discussion, I encourage you to reflect on how these insights apply to your own life. Share your thoughts in the comments. How do you balance kindness with wisdom in your daily interactions? And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. By doing so, you'll join a community of like-minded individuals committed to living with intention, integrity, and yes, kindness. Thank you for being a part of this journey. Stay wise, stay strong, and remember that true kindness starts with a thoughtful heart and a discerning mind. Until next time, take care and continue cultivating the calm within.